everybody, this is Walter, and I'm back with another review, this time for the Akai MPK Mini version 4. This is a nice unit. I expected it to be pretty good, and I like it because, number one, it's a very sturdy built unit. When you pick this up and you pull it out of the box, it feels good in your hand. Now, you can see this is a mini keyboard controller, but, because look at the size of my hand compared to the key bed, 25 keys. Keys are pretty good size. They're not too stiff, not too loose and mushy. So they got a nice midway feel to them. These are spring-loaded keys. It's not weighted action or semi-weighted. This is what's called synth-weighted. But works real good. So I like the keyboard on this. But the thing about it is with Akai, they've been in the business for so long. I remember seeing Akai keyboard products back in the late 1980s when I first started looking at this type of gear. And so I've been watching Akai for years, and they're a professional grade company. And it shows in this product. Because, like I say, the build quality, the keys feel good. They got the good old-fashioned pitch bend and mod wheel. Modulation wheel. That's a classic from keyboard manufacturers from years ago, including Akai, giving you those nice fluted edges on there, plus that finger indentation, which gives you an easy grip so you can move it up and down. And even though you can't really see it on the display, you can kind of see it. You can see when I run the pitch up, it goes up. When I run it down, it goes down. You can kind of see the little white bar there. But pitch bend and mod wheels feel good. Keys feel good. Pads feel good. Let me switch off to a drum. There. So, the pads feel good. Silicone rubber. Good grip, but not too much. And you can play them pretty good. So, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the pads on here at all. The knobs on here, every knob on here is fluted. It's got little ridges. You can kind of see the ridges on the pitch wheel over here. All of these knobs are vertically ridged, fluted from top to bottom. So when you grab it, you get a nice, quick, easy motion. And this is the data wheel here, and it spins to give you the different notes that you want to use and parameters. You can dial them in with this. The knobs over here, controller knobs, and the data knob over here are continuous spin, so they don't stop. They just keep going round and around and around. But that works out just fine. This button, even though it doesn't have a little name tag next to it anywhere, this is also your enter button. You press it down and it'll enter whatever data you want for saving and things like that. So it spins and you can spring load pressure, so you can use it as an enter button. The control buttons on here, if you listen to them, they got a nice little mellow click sound to them. The octave button goes all the way up. Goes all the way down. Run the full 127 incremental spaces there are in the mini specification using the octave buttons and all the buttons on here. Another thing about these buttons that's key that you want to remember. All of these control buttons here and some of the drum pads up here, 7 of the 8 drum pads, they correspond to the shift key. So what's written underneath, you hit the shift key and that action is taking place. Without the shift key, whatever is on the button itself, labeling, is what it does. So the shift key gives you double duty from all these buttons and some of the pads, which is nice. Which means you don't have to go too deep as far as scrolling through a lot of pages. Now, something else I want to show you. I'll bring up a photo so you can see it better. On the back of this unit, you've got a full-size MIDI DIN jack on there, 5-pin MIDI DIN jack. You can literally come out of this MPK Mini into a standalone drum machine or synthesizer workstation keyboard, which is really cool, or any unit that you have an external hardware unit for that you want to control from your controller right here, which is your MPK Mini. You also get a full-size 1/4-inch sustain pedal jack, which is nice. Some of these units, when you start getting small, they put an 1/8-inch connector. This one is 1/4-inch. Plus, you get USB-C connector on the back as well. It works as both power and data transmission and MIDI cable when you're plugged into a computer. But if you're in a standalone situation like you're gigging or something like that, or you're not using a computer or a tablet, you can actually plug a 5-volt USB-C connector cable with a power supply into an outlet and power it that way. So, dual versatility with that USB-C connection. Now, with that being said, right off the bat, for you folks who don't want to watch anymore, you just want to get a quick hit and a review, I give this unit 5 stars because as soon as I pulled it out of the box, it had that sturdy quality build to it. Everything feels nice and solid and steady. Sturdy. It's just a nice feeling unit. Got a nice heft to it. Should have some longevity to it, hopefully, just by the sturdiness that you feel. And then, of course, you play the keys and stuff. You get a nice feel. These rotary knobs, they have a nice light but fluid feel to them. So you got just a nice light resistance to it, which makes it feel real super smooth. And then, like I say, the buttons on here, when you tap them, you get a nice little click. And you can feel the click. The button goes down a little bit, comes back up. This is just a nice, sturdy built system from what I can see. So it gets 5 stars just for the build. Plus, there's also software. There's Ableton Live LE Limited Edition, and I think it's the 11th edition of Ableton Live 11 Limited Edition that goes with this. You can just register it, and you sign up, and there's a piece of software on the Akai website because you can download the owner's manual and some special software that lets you go in and get the Ableton Live software. Plus, I think it also comes with 1,000 samples and loops so that you can get up and running working with this Akai and that Ableton Live software. Or you can use your own DAW software that you're used to using, and you should still be able to use those other software benefits with the loops and things like that. Plus, they also have extra libraries of sounds and loops and things like that, and software that you can use that will integrate with the MPK Mini version 4. So, a lot of little bonuses there. So I give the unit a 5 because of that. And it costs well under. Now, I'm going to give you a high price, which is way more than it costs, but for less than $130, well under $130, you can get this unit. I'm just going real high because Amazon doesn't like to have price quotes that are just spot on for that particular day because prices fluctuate. Plus, something might go on sale. So, it's well under $130. And I do mean well under it. But you got a nice feel. I give it a 5-star rating just for putting that full-size MIDI jack on there and a full-size sustain connector on there as well. So, great feeling unit, works well. But, how does it program? Because this is a controller. You've got to be able to program with it. One of the reasons why I'm giving it a 5, with one little caveat, one little gripe, Akai, is it programs extremely well. You can go into the program mode on this baby, and you can set up the pads and the sliders, and you have from user position 4 through 14 to set this up, and then there's a DAW. You have 4 DAW settings because you can set this up. Let me bring up the list. You can actually set this up with the Ableton Live LE11, Fruity Loops, Logic Pro, GarageBand, Cubase. So it comes configured so that you can set up 4 or 5 versions of your DAW with preset patterns that you can set up in here. So that's really neat. But also with that, there's one little thing you have to watch out for, because I actually ended up quite disappointed yesterday when I was working with this unit, because I had read it in the PDF file. It also comes with a paper version of the owner's manual as well. But I was looking at the PDF file of the owner's manual for the MPK Mini 4, and it had to do with this plug-in DAW button over here, because you can hit it once, and it has a plug-in mode. Hit it again, and it goes red, and it's got a DAW mode. So, what I overlooked, even though I had read it a couple times, is I forgot that when you go into the MPK to start setting up the MIDI ports on it, it has 4 settings in here. And the port that we're going to use is option 4, because which puts you at program 5. But what it is that since I'm using Mixcraft Pro version 9, it's not pre-programmed into it, but I can freely set the unit up by going into the edit mode and set my pads and faders up, and then just save it as a user preset, which works just fine. But I forgot to do that. I look at that when I was setting it up, and I was saying, wait a minute, where's the presets that I set up from before? And it didn't work right. And I got a little frustrated, and I said, wait a minute. So I went online to Akai, and I said, well, is there any setup software? This unit does not have software. It doesn't need it. And the reason why is, as soon as you go into edit mode of this, you can set this up just as if you were using the software, because you don't have to set up one pad, then save, set up another pad, then save, anything like that. The hardware version of this from the control panel lets you set up all the pads and knobs just like you would in the software, and then you just pick a save location between 4 and 14 to set it up and save it, and you're done. So you don't have to load any extra software and have any goofy issues with that or anything like that. So let's go in and do a save of a pattern setup on this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll set the pads up over here for drums. Okay, super simple to set up. We hold down the shift key because we're going to use the octave minus key over here to go into program edit mode. So we hold down the shift key, and it lets us do the program edit, which is written underneath the button. Now it says move a control to edit. We're not going to spin a dial, we're going to tap a pad. All right, the screen changes. I wish you could see that screen better, but I just tapped a pad. It says pad A, and no matter what pad I hit, it shows it on the screen. and it says in blue on the top line, and it says edit. Beneath it, we've got MIDI channel, and if I spin the dial to the right, it'll go MIDI channel, MIDI note number, PC number, CC number, off C, on C. And then I can just spin it reverse to the left, and I'll just come on back up to note number. Hit the button once, and it makes it automatically jump over to the numeric side. So now I can pick my numbers. Here, even though I give this unit a 5 because it's just so nice, here's the one thing that isn't so nice that I wish they had put in here. Maybe they didn't have the processor space to make it available, but here's the one thing, Akai, if you ever watch this video, that I wish you had done. Watch, if I hit these pads, folks, you notice you don't hear any drums? I'm on MIDI channel 10, but you don't hear the drum. What I gotta do is, now in my mix craft software, just like you have in your DAW software, I'm sure, you probably have a sampler section where you can set up a custom sampler with loops and drum sounds or what have you. Well, if you go into your DAW software, like in my Mixcraft, I got 32 locations. All I would have to do, I wouldn't have to be in in edit mode over here at all. On the Akai, I could just hit a pad. It would flash on the screen in my mix pad. I could drag a sample over, drop it right there. So it would automatically correspond with this. And I could do that over and over again till I had 8 pads set up here, corresponding to what's on the screen in my Mixcraft without doing any editing of this at all. So that's one way you can do it, especially if you're doing loops and samples and stuff like that. That's one way to do it, which will probably be real quick and easy. Drag and drop, and you could fire the pad in here. But since we're setting this up from here, we don't have that instant feedback of being able to tap in here. I'll just bring up my MIDI, my general MIDI drum map. There's my MIDI drum map. So I want to use the bass drum, which is going to be number 36. So I'll tap pad number 1, spin my dial, 36. Number 2 is going to be my acoustic snare, which is going to be 38. Spin my dial to 38. Then I'm going to jump up here to number 5, because I want to make number 5 close hi-hat. 42. Open is 46. So there's 46. Tom-toms. High tom. Where we at? Hit the tab, hit the pad. That's number 50. Hit this pad. We're going to make that one the mid-tom. That's going to be number 48. And this is going to be our low tom. 47. There. I think I'm going to put a hand clap right here. Yeah, let's do a hand clap. Number 39. There. Now, I've got my drum kit set. I can even check it. 36, 38, 39, 42, 46, 50, 48. Wait, got two 48s. That's I need my mid tom to be 48 and my low mid tom to be 47. There. Now we're all set. So let's save it. All I gotta do, hold the shift key. Use the plus octave button. Hit it once. It says save to program user 4. Now here, ladies and gentlemen, I can actually spin the dial 4, 5, 6, 7 on through the number 14 user spots. And then there's plug-in at the very last one, which is program 16. But I'm going to use program 5, which takes us just one step beyond those pre-programmed DAW software packages. And so program 5 is a user one, so I can freestyle that one. I'll put it in there, press the button, program saved. All right, let me get back in the screen. There we go. All right, let's take a listen. Kick, snare, clap, open and close hi-hat. We got it right there. So that's all set and save. It's just that simple. So, and stop and think about it. If you were editing with software, it would cut you off so that you couldn't audition the sounds. It's just like this did here. That's the only glitch that I don't like. It's not a glitch. It's just a programming way that some units set up. But it's something I hope that Akai can overcome, because one of my favorite things about using a unit that has the editing capabilities right on the unit is so you can get that tactile feel by hearing it and editing it at the same time. When you do software, usually it cuts off the DAW so that it can have full control over the unit, and then you have to set it up using note numbers and things like that. Or you have to use, like, say, MIDI aux or something like that that's going to let you bypass around that software so that you can hear. So that's the only drawback that I have. Even though I'm giving this unit a 5, I wish you could edit it without having to use a MIDI drum mat. Just do it with your ears so that you can hear the MIDI note as you play them before you lock it in, and then also have the MIDI pad information show up over here like it already does. That would be the sweetest deal of all. But other than that, this is a 5-star unit, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. I like it a lot. And the old school pitch bend and mod wheels, nice touch. Nice feel on everything. 5 stars. Good job, Akai. Hopefully you can tweak it to audition and edit at the same time. Well, that's it for this review. See you next time.